Hey, Porter. I'm curious how this year is different for you from last year. You got that playing time last year after the Miles suspension. So how is this year different, though?
Well, it's different in a lot of ways. For one, I got to spend camp with this team and this group, so um, that's different. And then last year, coming in halfway, and there were guys injured, and I was learning a completely new defense. Um, you know, there's 6 games left, so you know, it was a different feel. It was a completely different feel. Starting off fresh, starting off throughout camp, being able to you know earn the trust of my teammates or the coaches and be able to work my way into the rotation, um, and kind of show the coaches what I have and what I have to offer. So in that way, it is different.
It looked like there were a couple days in camp where like Adrian Clayborn had you off to the side and was working with you like after practice. Have you and Adrian developed a pretty good relationship, and has he been helping you out?
Yeah, yeah. Any time I can, especially take the time to be, one on one with a guy like that, a vet that's been in the league for, forever and been there, done that. Had the sacks, and has a lot of knowledge. Anytime I can do that, I take that opportunity and be able to take it in and ask questions and learn from him. So he stays after practice and gets some work in, and so I take that opportunity and I try to learn. So he's definitely helped me with some things, technique wise, and just shared some knowledge. So that's been great.
Scott Petrick, you're up.
Hey, Porter, what's it like when, you go into Thursday night and, you find out OV is down and then Adrian goes down and all of a sudden you're playing a bunch and then you have a big hit on that one Miles play? Like, just kind of what's the emotions like as you go through a night like that?
Yeah, going in as a backup, not really knowing how many plays you're going to get. And, the game before I got 10 or 11 snaps. So going in as a backup, it's definitely a different feel. The preparation's different. You get a lot less reps in practice, things like that. So, you could, take that two ways. You can kind of see it as I'm not going to play and, not really, prepare like a starter, or you can see it how I've been seeing it, where as I know, I may only get a few reps during the game. And, if that's the case, then, I have no room for error, because if I go in and mess it up, then, the coach is going to be reluctant to put me in again. So in that sense, it's kind of changed my perspective, and if anything, probably helped to motivate me to prepare more, just knowing that, I'm on a short leash, and if I go in there is absolutely no room for error. So coming into the game, I felt very prepared. I, kind of had that mindset. I knew OV was down. So, anything can happen in this league. Somebody could get hurt, go down, just like what happened on Thursday, and, you're the next man up. So anything can happen. You got to be prepared and be ready to take on anything.
You think you would have caused the fumble if Miles hadn't gotten there a split second first?
I'd like to think so.
We'll go to Daryl Ryder for our next question.
Hey, Porter, I think it was the first practice of camp. You came flying around the edge like 3 times in the span of 5 minutes or so. I'm just kind of curious, as a player that at the time was competing for a job, what type of confidence did that give you? And also, too, when you kind of take the guys that you have in that room, Olivier and Miles and that, and, learning from those guys and taking it to the field, as you talked about, when you get those very limited opportunities in a game?
Yeah, it certainly gave me confidence, going against the ones, coming out there and knowing that it's a new coaching staff. They haven't really seen what you can do or been able to evaluate you in a practice setting. So going out there, you give it your all, and when you get an opportunity to go with the ones, you have to, you have to make plays. You just have to. It's what you're doing in this league, to stay here and to earn a spot. So it was good to get out there and make a few plays and show my teammates and coaches, and that I can, go out there, compete with the ones and make plays out there. So it was good.
Great. We'll go to Nate Ulrich for our next question.
Porter, when we talked to Kevin Stefanski a few minutes ago, he said that you just kept making plays throughout training camp and it's carrying over to the games for you. So I'm wondering, because this was such a weird off season, you didn't have the spring practices and preseason games and all that. How did you get ready for camp? How did you get ready to kind of put yourself in the best position? What was your off season like?
Well, first off, it was a different off season, obviously. And the thing is, a lot of guys, everybody didn't have the same, training routine and access to what we usually have. So that's, it kind of evens out the playing field coming in is nobody really got the same preparation and the same, routine, like I said, in the off season. So I kind of took that and decided to see this positive to where I know that everybody's working alone. Everybody has limited resources. So it's really going to come down to effort and what you're willing to do and how much, you're willing to go out and find a way to make it happen. So that's kind of what I did. Luckily Utah, where I live, is didn't shut down everything as much as a lot of states did. So like the local gym stayed open. I was able to train at the high school and do some of those things. So I had pretty good access to what I needed. And I just stayed the course and just worked. Worked my drills, worked on what I needed to work on, my weaknesses, and just put my head down and worked throughout the offseason, got proper rest, and did what I needed to. So that's how I prepared for it, and that's really all you can do.
Mary Kay Cabot has our next question.
Hey, Porter, just wondering how you felt about, being able to affect that play the way that you did the other night. Did you get, take some satisfaction out of the fact that, you probably stunned Joe there a little bit where, he kind of was rattled enough that Miles was able to finish it off there. So just wondering, how you felt about that. What did you see there? And then how cool was it to be involved in really the difference in the game?
It definitely brought some satisfaction. What it really did is it gave our team, the momentum. It gave us energy. And as far as that play went, it doesn't work one without the other. If Miles didn't do what he did in the game that we ran, then I don't come free. And if I didn't do what I did and entertain the tackle like I did and occupy him, then maybe Miles doesn't come free. So working together on that is what made that happen. So we ran it well. We executed. We've done it in practice. So it was nice to be able to get out there and do it in a game setting and be able to hit the quarterback. Haven't been able to do that for since last season. You don't get to do that in practice, so it's good to do that. It's definitely satisfying. He came back out firing and stayed strong and was able to make plays. So he didn't seem too rattled, but I like to think it got him thinking a little bit, a little worried.
Thank you.
We'll take two more. We'll go to Fred Greetham and then Tony Grossi. Fred, your line is open.
Hey, Porter, you kind of took the road less traveled, undrafted, and then you got, released with the Saints. How did you keep your spirits and your confidence up all that time until you got the call from the Browns last year?
It was tough. Going to the draft and, you think you hit your stats, hit your numbers, and you're pretty confident you're going to be drafted and end up, going undrafted and then going to the Saints and switch positions and getting kind of, mixed around a little bit into some different position. And, things don't go very smoothly and then you're out for a while. I just kept working. It's really what I know and what I go to. And, I was pretty confident that a team would come around, although it took quite a while. I had a couple workouts with teams, so that, that kind of helped reassure that teams were looking at me and evaluating me. So, just kept working and made the necessary changes that I needed to. because I moved from an outside linebacker to a defensive end. I know I needed to put on weight, and I didn't have the time to do it in New Orleans because they changed my position last second, so I was really light. I knew I needed to change that, and so I did, and I worked on the things that I saw that I needed to work on throughout camp. I learned a lot from camp in New Orleans, and really focused on that while I was out. So that's kind of how I stayed occupied, just knowing that I'd have another opportunity, and when I needed to be ready. So I needed to correct my weaknesses and the mistakes that I had made.
Final one goes to Tony Grossi.
Yeah, we know how hard it is to gain weight in New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the storylines of this training camp was how Garrett and Vernon were going to school Jedrick Wills on, becoming a better left tackle. It seems to me that you contributed a lot to that in training camp. I was just wondering, these 2 games he's played, it seems like a light has turned on. What are your observations now that Wills is out there blocking in real games?
Yeah, he's done great. I mean, I haven't had time to sit down and evaluate and watch the offense, but I have during game day, and I've heard the stats a little bit on how well he's been doing, and it's great. He's done great. I think he's come a long way from the beginning of camp to the end. He's out there going against a lot of good pass rushers, and sometimes it doesn't go his way, but that's how it always is. That's especially for a rookie coming out here. That's tough, and I think he's gotten better from it, learned from it, and been able to step it up and come out and do really well on game day. So it's great.
Do you think that the microscope being on Wills so much among the coaches helped shine it on you a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. As a competitor, you always want to go against somebody else that, like you said, has the spotlight or is proven to be a really good player, just so you can be able to show what you got against a proven player. Because you go out and do it against a player that doesn't have the spotlight or isn't as skilled, then it's easy to kind of blow off and be like, well, the competition he was going against wasn't very good. So when you can go against somebody that is similar to Wilkes' position, anytime you can do that, then it's definitely positive.